Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Monoxide Podcast. I'm your host, Harris, a.k.a. Monoxide, man of many automotive aspirations. And today I'm here with my co-host, Dan, Mr. Gunna Garage.
Yep, here I am. We're never going to get this intro stuff nailed down, so it is
You would
what
think
it
by
is.
100 episodes we'll have it figured out. We still got 8 more to go. But today we have one returning guest and one new guest. So we have Jarrett Bowen, who we had on episode, I think it was 65, 4, 6,
2 or 3.
I don't know.
I don't remember any of the
Somewhere in
numbers.
the 60s.
And then we got Mike Roush as well. So we thought it made sense to get you guys on since we just did the Optima Ultimate Street Car Challenge. Did I get it, Dan?
Yep.
Oh, I got it this time. It's just a tongue twister. We figured it was a good idea to get you guys on because obviously you had a really good weekend. You brought your, how many horsepower Mustang out there to compete with? We'll round down.
About 400.
400, so it's stock. We'll just say that for now.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, having you guys on together makes sense because obviously you built the car, right?
Correct.
All right, just double checking. And then you raced the car, and you had a fantastic weekend. You guys will be going out to Vegas for the Optima Challenge there. You're going with him, right?
I will be.
All right, so you won.
Gotta have some arm candy.
Yeah.
And you won. What was it? Is it called the Spirit of the Optima, or what?
Spirit of the Event Award.
Spirit of the Event Award.
Yep.
Why is that?
Did you not see him there?
Apparently, people like me. I
Because
don't know
you've been
if-
competing there for what, a decade almost?
6. I think this is number 6. 6th year there at Road America.
Okay.
So
I've been on for 4.
Okay, you've been out there for 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
We built the engine 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. And then that's pretty much when I started doing the Optima with him.
Mm-hmm. And so for those listening, I kind of want to describe what the Optima event is, and I'm going to delegate that to you, Dan.
Well, it's the search for the ultimate street car, right? It's been going on for a long time, right? Because
Yes.
we were talking to our very young friend, Tim DeCicero, and he remembers when they were kind of starting it up. So he's been in the automotive business for
A long time.
many years. So do you know how many years they've been at Road America? Any of you guys?
I
No?
think all but the first year or two. And if I could be wrong on this, but 2013 I think was the starting year.
Okay.
Something around in there.
Okay. So, I mean, they travel all over from track to track to track searching for the ultimate street car, right?
Yeah.
Right, get this over just like 3 inches. But what's it called? So yeah, basically it's a matter of you do road course, autocross. What else is there? You had the
Stop box.
Yeah, stop box. Dude, the stop box challenge is probably the most fun one for me to watch because whenever somebody sends
See
a
the
cone,
cars sliding through sideways.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, he sent the cone flying like 15, 20 feet.
Oh, yeah.
Which was hilarious. We talked about this on the last episode with Jay, which just aired today. But yeah, it literally is just the hunt for the ultimate street car. You have a certain set of regulations. It's not like you can go full race car and call it a street car.
Well, you can, but they put you in the outlaw group.
What's the outlaw group? Or what's that consist of? Any idea?
It's kind of an open category. The aero is unlimited in that group. You can have a stripped out version of a car versus a lot of us will run full interiors and stuff like that. But the rules kind of go to the wayside in that class.
But then their points don't count into the normal standings, though, right?
They do, except for the D&E portion.
Okay.
And that's why if you read when OUSCI, the Invitational in Vegas, in big bold letters, it says D&E does not contribute in the outlaw group to the overall championship.
Okay.
So because they don't qualify for the D&E class or the D&E portion of the event.
Which can be a huge part of your score, so it pretty much knocks you down to bottom of the line anyway.
It makes it so you can never win the Invitational.
Yeah. Okay.
So
And for anybody listening, what D&E is design and engineering. So it's what you've put into the car. You have, is it 2 or 3 minutes?
4 minutes.
You have 4 minutes to explain your entire build of what you've done to the car, how you got to where you're at, and everything else.
Which sounds like, I thought at first, I was like, man, 4 minutes, this is going to be hard to do. But like, I'm pretty sure the bell rung before I was all the way done.
Yeah.
So
I was watching you the whole time, and like I think they cut you off like right as you were at like kind of the bumper, but it looks like you were just getting warmed up.
well, they did ask me a follow-up, like you had said. They were kind of fishing for something else because I had skipped a category. I think they were like
Okay.
asked me about the exhaust.
Oh, gotcha.
So, which I have a pretty stock-ish car, so it was hard. And one other guy had said that too. He's like, yeah, I got this stock. I got this stock. So it's kind of hard to do your build when you haven't really done anything to it.
Exactly.
I will give you a pointer. Avoid that word when you're doing D&E.
Stock, yeah.
Stock or factory.
Okay.
They highlight what's not
Okay.
and avoid what is, if that makes sense.
Yep.
I've been told that multiple times because the first year I did it and I pointed out literally everything top to bottom, and they're like, avoid anything that's stock or factory and just don't even bring it up. So
I was going to really highlight the wrap because that was the coolest thing about it, but I don't even think I said the word Mystic Chrome, which after I drove away, I'm like,
That is a bummer.
Idiot. I know. It is what it is. There's next year, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Wraps are becoming a big theme in D&E, and I would focus highly on that.
Okay.
Like make them stand at one and go, hey, look, the car's purple, and then make them stand over here, and be like, hey, look, the car's green now.
Yeah. All right.
So what'd you tell them? Oh, it's orange, and then you just kind of left it at its stock.
We detuned it.
It is a more of a rare orange. It's not just orange. It's a limited
that out this
run,
last
limited
event.
years.
Yep.
Only did the competition orange.
Yep. So yeah, 2004,
Yep.
15, and I don't know if there was a carryover into 16.
There was.
There was a carryover into 16.
Okay.
It changed slightly. Like there's a little difference between the 15 and 16. I think the 16 got a little lighter.
I wonder if they changed primers.
Yeah, base
'Cause-
coats probably.
Probably, yeah. Because the competition orange is one of the rarest that Ford put out, but I think the other one is the Oxford white, is one of the other hardest
Yeah.
colors. Is it Oxford white? Is that the name of it?
Either Oxford or Wimbledon.
Wimbledon sounds.
Wimbledon
more-
is the one they really only did in the 50th anniversary.
It might
Yeah.
be the
Or in
Wimbledon
the
white
anniversary cars, I think is the only one.
then. It could be that one.
Wimbledon white.
Yeah.
I saw an competition orange Explorer Sport Track the other day, which would have been an 04 probably.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were those in? You could get that in something other than a Mustang? I thought that was kind of a.
No, I think you could
I
have the
guess
Ford
I
lineup.
never really paid attention to that.
I haven't either. My other question is why?
I know. It's a good little truck.
My mom had an 03 back in the
Yeah.
day when they first came out. Yeah.
Or if you get the Adrenaline Sport Track.
What? I don't even think I know about
Those
that
were
one.
kind of
Yeah.
neat looking. They had
They
a
had
body
the
kit to
Aviator-
them.
They had the Aviator engine in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Shit. This is turning into brought to you by early 2000s Ford.
I was just letting you guys kind of go. There's somebody out there that's loving this.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding though. Like, get yours like way because you're talking like
What's happening?
away from the mic.
Oh.
Yeah, you turn your head and it's like, all right, I'm over here now.
I've literally never been scolded for my mic placement.
I know
until
it's
just
always
now.
been perfect. No,
Like over this way?
Yeah, there you
Okay.
go. Nailed it. All right. I'm so sorry. You've always had been perfect.
people
I just
wanna
feel so
hear you,
bad.
Dan.
I know. Well, I think I've got people on either side of me now, so that's part of the
You
problem.
never talk
So
to me.
then,
It's okay.
then
Yeah.
you just angle it to the
Yeah.
mic.
Yeah.
No, you know, yeah, it's okay. You're just an A+ student. Just
Look
gotta
at Mr.
be
Hollywood
once.
over here.
Yeah, right.
Hey, I totally botched it up the first podcast, so I'm like,
you
I
were good.
gotta pay attention this time.
That's why I'm sitting over here. I don't have to move.
Yeah.
No, you were good the first time around. I did want to ask though, right? What goes into what you guys did for this car? Because obviously it was doing really well. What'd you set at Road America this past weekend? What were you doing for times?
Well, unfortunately, I never had a full clean session, but first session with some traffic, we ran a 239 out. Second session, finally got a clean lap and ended up coming into a caution in Canada Corner because the car went off the end and ran a 238.
Wow.
So my goal is 235 or sub that. Without the caution, I don't know if I would have been able to achieve it, possibly.
That would put you in some really good company, right? Because, for example, who won? I think it was the Ellsworth Viper, I think. Or they were up there. I think they were doing like 230s.
The fastest car of the day was Dave, and he ran in the 220s.
220, like
Yeah.
8, 9 sort of deal.
I want to say it was a
I want to say
226.
it's pretty low. I want to say it was mid 220s.
Really?
That's
So
what
which
I
car
thought
was
it
that?
too.
22 Camaro, like a burnt orange color.
The one who won the
Yep.
entire event.
Oh, okay.
He got like 100 in almost every category, I think, or in every category.
Oh, is that the... Oh, I know which one you're talking about. The one that was scraping on autocross every
Yep.
single turn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That thing was wicked.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, like, you're still going pretty quick considering you have no arrow on your car. I mean, you have that cute little thing back there, but that's pretty much it.
That little cute little thing keeps it planted on the track. This thing doesn't move and we run over 170 miles an hour down the front stretch. And
Yeah.
like
That's moving.
the only thing that makes me nervous in this is watching the ripples in the hood.
Yeah.
Like as long as I come down into the I'll start seeing 5, 4, and then I start braking at about 3.5 on the markers on the side. As long as I see the 3 marker coming and the hood's still down, it's a good day, and then we're back into turn 1 again. So
Holy shit.
Now, these numbers, too, by the way, if anybody follows any of the times that you can get in certain cars at Road America, this is with the bend or the bus stop or whatever you want to call it, which it's got to add at least a
4
few
seconds.
4 seconds.
It's got to be 4.
Yeah.
Right?
At least.
I'd say that's pretty accurate.
Because you're coming in hard to a too quick, almost 90-90 turns.
Yep.
Yes.
And then coming back out where
Versus
if you
140
don't,
into the
you're
kink.
just blasting through the kink.
Yep.
If you're hitting 140 into kink, you're going to be in the grass real quick, I imagine. But
I'm sorry, that's what I was doing on iRacing in the
Close.
GT3.
Yeah.
135-ish.
You can. I mean, especially the IMSA cars are blowing through their way.
That's a
faster than
difference, yeah.
140, but
yeah, the GT3 cars, for example, I think they run like 2:10s, give or take 5 seconds or something like that. But the Trans Am car, the Challenger that got second place, he was running 2:02 in qualifying, which is flying.
That's flying.
Would you think about it? That's 30 seconds faster than you, I guess.
did you see that guy coming around the track though?
Yeah.
He was moving,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it looked and sounded awesome.
That guy was 16.
But they run the kink.
The driver was 16.
The driver was 16. He got his. I was doing a little bit of research on like the car, right? And I just stumbled upon like his driver profile. He got his first, I think, win or championship or something like that with TA2, so the tier below, when he was 14 years old.
Wow.
And then he's in this series. So that was his first win in a Trans Am car, like the top tier. And those things are making like 830 for horsepower. I'm not sure if that's crank or wheel, but I don't know how race car people do it, but
Probably not a lot of loss in a car like that.
that's
from
true.
the-
That thing probably weighs 2,900, I bet.
Yeah.
Because they're all sequential. I mean, you ain't losing much. Everything is hard.
Sequential
through.
gearbox, and
Yeah.
Have you done any builds with dog boxes?
I have not.
Not yet. Yeah, we were kind of looking into that, right? Because like me and Dan were just like, we had a misunderstanding of what it was. I was
I
like,
still don't even know if I know what a dog box is.
It's about $40,000. That's all
Oh,
I gotta
perfect.
know.
Then I don't care what it is.
Do you know who Brandon
Exactly.
Clemenson is? Runs a Falcon.
No.
That car has a dog box in it.
Okay.
So he would come out to DCTC with us a few times, and he would play around a little bit. That's a full blown race car at that, but
Okay.
it's when you get to low speeds, they're hard to shift, like because you can see them struggling coming into the pit or in the grid and stuff like that. So
Square cut gears and
they're really jerky. Like
Oh,
you
really?
can see them, and they're doing this at
Yep.
low speeds. Like it's painful sometimes.
So they need to be driven hard and fast.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're meant to be on the
Yeah.
gas.
but it's like upper 20s to 40s for a dog box.
yeah, it's ridiculous. That's full blown race car stuff.
Yeah.
So what's all done to this, right? The Bowen Built.
Are we allowed to?
What are you allowed to
disclose?
discuss?
Yeah. No, it's not a big deal. Where do you want to start?
So
Suspension, maybe?
fully built short block.
Okay.
So 4 years ago, burnt up 4 pistons. So rebuilt, so full Manly, forged low end, blueprint balanced, everything. Janderson went through and kind of just made sure all the heads were good to go, valve job, and then put the engine back together, full ARP. The transmission went out last year on Sunday, the last run on the big track, and welded up the planetary coming down on 5. So we yanked that out, and
I got to add one thing in about that. Have you ever seen needle bearings get oozed out like Play-Doh before?
No.
Because that happened. And it was sucky and cool all at the same
if
time.
I would have planned this out, I have the planetary on the shelf over here. And
Oh, yeah?
it's
Yeah, you have to show us
I'll
after.
show you later.
Yeah.
But it was crazy. I mean, the planetary is an oval now. It's not even circular. So our great friend Dan here sourced us a transmission out of an F-150 The only difference is the case, really. And then the clutches actually have an extra clutch and steel in the direct drive, so they just handle more payload for the trucks. And put that in. That thing it's been pretty awesome so far. So he's seeing like 50, 60 degrees lower temps and quicker shifts.
Yeah, and you're definitely a guide. If you want some R&D on where the limits are of something, I would definitely put it in Mike's car.
he will definitely push the limits on the vehicle.
Yeah.
So this engine now, I mean, Mike's shifting at like 8,300, just plowing through the RPMs.
Which compared to what is stock?
High sixes, I think.
I think 68 is stock
Yeah,
rev limit. But usually even just like oil pump gears, they'll bump the RPMs to like 72.
Wow.
So another 1,000 RPMs over that.
That's actually a pretty surprisingly high revving engine then.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
It's still making power. Like it'll keep going.
It's pulling all day.
So there's no shortage. I mean, the blower is good to 1,000, 1,100.
What'd you say the blower was? Whipple?
It's a Whipple
2.9.
2.9 stage 2 Gen 3. Had to make sure I
Okay.
got all that right. So
Yeah.
And they're in what generation now? Was it 6?
5.
Yeah.
Well, 5.6s are just kind of now coming out, but
Yeah, 6 is now coming out. You can do an upgraded Gen 6 housing.
and I have a 2.9 liter on my orange car, but it's a Gen 4. It technically has like a different rotor in it, but other than that, everything else is the same.
Yeah.
And then you did the brakes and the shocks,
Yep.
the
So
coilovers.
it's got KW double adjustable coilovers all the way around. And then BMR adjustable sway bars, BMR lockouts in the rear. I'm trying to think of what else I'm forgetting that's underneath there.
But you do a lot of track support for him, right? So you're helping with the adjustments and stuff. Were you doing anything on the suspension side of things this last event or not really?
We did make a couple adjustments when it came to the autocross, just to kind of change stuff up. And then we did loosen things up a little bit for the big track. So kind of made add a little compression to it for the autocross to kind of stiffen it up. And then for the big track, made it a little more movable.
Is there any reason you loosened it up for the big track? Like, what's the intent behind that?
Because at 170, if your suspension's super stiff, I just didn't want it to accidentally washboard off the track because it just has no give to.
If it bounces
Follow
once in
the
a
track
braking
around.
zone, you're along for the ride now.
You
Yeah.
transfer more weight to the front than on the brakes and stuff too, I suppose, when when you give it a little roll.
Yep. Let it transfer weight back and forth, but
Yeah.
I want the wheels to be able to adjust for divots or any cracks or anything in the road to follow around. But an autocross, you're not going fast enough really to.
Right, that makes sense. Because if you hit a bump, like you said, as you're going into a braking zone at 170 and it's super stiff, you're going along for the ride. That makes sense. Okay. What else were you doing there? Like, is there anything else you were kind of adjusting with on the fly there, or not really? There's really not
Tire pressures.
tire pressures.
Always adjusting tire pressures. That's like the one thing that it's like every single lap on the autocross, you're adjusting tire pressures just from heat. You can set everything. So on the big track, in the pit, we'd set his tire pressures at 27, 28, 29 PSI. And then coming off the track, they're at 37. So heat generates a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I was just looking at the Viper forum. I want to say this morning or yesterday, like somebody was asking about, the various, or it might have been the AMG forum, talking about tire pressures and saying like, they want them to be cold at 26 PSI before they even get on the track.
Yep.
So, and then where did you find the sweet spot was for you?
So through some friends and stuff last year, and this is my second year running on Falcons. We came from the RE71Rs last year, who like to run colder, and they shared some stuff with me about these tires, and they're like these ones like to run more air in them. So last year we upped about 4 psi in the fronts and 2 or 3 in the rears, and we shaved off half a second instantly just because the car was just biting harder in the corners. And so I've been kind of tinkering around with that more and more. And
so is it just a matter of feeling around, like when it starts gripping more, like, oh, that's sliding around, let's take 2-3 psi out of it, basically?
Yeah, well, once we find a happy spot for the tires, then it comes down to suspension. I mean, if the car is starting to get loose, then we start changing rebound and compression and stuff a little bit, and trying to settle the car down a little bit from being so upset all the time. And it's the double adjustable game is a hard game to learn. Yeah, and so we're working on that part.
Well, what happened? Have you done any? I think you mentioned it last time you were on here that you were doing some even like triple adjustables. Were you, or am I thinking of someone else? That's
maybe someone else.
Might have been. Yeah, because that's a whole nother.
Throw another factor in there. Yeah. No thanks.
What's that third aspect? I forgot what it was. What's the third thing you're adjusting? Why am I blanking
compression,
on?
Rebound.
Just compression and rebound on a shock.
Okay.
And then the other from there is just alignment. How much camber caster and you're putting in and changing that stuff up.
That was the other thing that I was going to look at on my car before we went out, because it has the adjustable plates on it. And I was like, should I throw more into this or whatever? But I don't know. I feel like I really hit my groove this last time. So finally decided that I think I'm out driving the tires that I have.
You are 100% out driving.
Yeah, because I wasn't
Sport 4 on the road. Yeah.
Oh, you're not a fan either?
They're great street tires. Not a track tire.
Well, Harris always saw the Swiss Army knife, right? The Swiss Army knife of tires. They do everything good, not any one thing great.
100%.
Yeah.
If you would have been on track Friday night during the monsoon, you would have outran all of us.
Yes, that was
yes.
I did hear rain, so I was thinking I was gonna be all right on that front. Although I think I would have still been too scared to push it in the rain. But
we've ran in the rain there before. It's interesting.
I bet
A little bit of pucker fest.
A couple spots, yeah. But we were still. I think I was still reaching speeds over 140 in the rain down the front stretch. But you got to know when to back off.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, because it's. I mean, especially in that place, it takes a split second and there's a cement wall, and it's that, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Some of the videos I've seen on Road America are pretty scary. Like there was one video I saw of somebody losing their brakes going in turn 1. Like they could not at all. They went straight into the wall like about $160.
Yeah.
And you're dazed and confused, and the car started on fire like 2-3 seconds later, and I was like, holy shit. So that track, it definitely it can punish you.
Yeah. Turn 1, turn 5, turn 12.
Yeah.
Which is the turn? My one that always sneaks up on me is you come out of the kink and it's kind of a straight U.S. in between.
That's
There's
12.
walls.
Canada corner.
Yeah, is that Canada corner?
That's Canada corner.
Because I'm like, oh, you're whipping through there and you're trying to pay attention. All of a sudden you're like, oh shit, there's a 90 degree to the right here.
I think it's more than 90 almost. That's
Is it? Yeah.
You're almost coming back a little ways. Going through Canada Corner, that's where the Camaro went off.
Yep.
Slid off in front of him, causing the slowdown because he went just straight through.
He got so close to the wall.
Yeah.
I watched that. Like I heard tires lock up as I was leaving, and I'm like, oh, Camaro. Like I was like, oh no, and then he almost clipped the wall.
Yeah, it just looked like there was too much rear bias in the brakes, and it locked it up and spun the car completely sideways, and that's how we went straight off down into the gravel.
Yep.
So how were you able to identify that behind him? Like, what was the first thing that you noticed? If you're thinking
the black marks on the road, those black marks were too dark to be from front brakes. It was that simple, and then you can see where they turn.
Okay.
And then it went straight back. It looked, from what I can tell. But yeah, he was parked completely sideways where we were coming into Canada Corner, and you're looking right at his driver's door, and he's like
he was nosed against
off the wall. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I got like a 4-second video of just facing that direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I ended up talking to the owner of the company. I was like, "Hey, everything all right?" He's like, "Yeah, it's fine. Just a couple, I think like something was just like mildly. I think they only lost the splitter on that."
Okay.
Yeah.
It's better
That's
than the
good.
alternative.
It's more damage on the ego than it is anything.
Yeah.
Because there's no getting out of there. They have to come fishing for you with the tow truck, and that's the only way to get out, kind of thing. So
there was a number of cars that got busted up that weekend. And it was all in that last session, I think, because then there was the Supra missing a bumper.
I felt real bad for Sam on that one. That car is so nice.
Yeah, I felt bad for that guy. I was like, yeah, that was a tough one to see because I saw it on the.
Never
tow
want to
truck
see a mid '90s Supra bash into a wall.
No.
No, you don't. Unless it's a Bollywood movie. Did you see that video?
I did not.
No, there was a video going around, and there was like they literally like blew up like a '90s Supra or whatever. I was like, geez, that's just a high production value. It might have been a fake one, but never know.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Wasn't there some like shitty versions of that car too? Like, there's like trim levels, right? There's some that are cheap-ish.
So they've got like a generic motor in them, and then they've got like the non-turbo 2JZ motor, and then they have the turbo 2JZ motor. And I'm sure that there's much more than that. That's my knowledge of them, but even the non-turbo 2JZs are supposed to be worth something. But I think the base model is, if you're looking for a cheaper Supra, just to have a Supra, which I kind of want one of those, honestly.
Yeah.
But just for a cruiser car, I mean...
I think everybody our age wants a mid-'90s Supra.
Yeah. And I don't want it because of, all the movies that are out about it. I just want them because I like the way they sound, and I like the way they look, and the way the interior is almost like kind of a cockpit in a way.
Yeah,
that kind
the
of
interior
wraps
is
you.
awesome in those.
Yep.
Yeah. And I wouldn't do anything stupid to get, wheels and tires and... Nice
600 wheel and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be all right.
That's
with
kind of the
6.
sweet spot.
Yeah.
Kind of like 600 wheel for like a classic. I mean, depending on like, for example, like I know a lot of guys with like Silvios, like they'll do like 500 wheel. That's kind of the sweet spot. And then you get the occasional guy that just builds it to the gills. But yeah, those older 90s cars, 600, they're happy campers because they weigh nothing too.
Yeah.
Right? Because what's this weigh in at?
The orange car?
Yeah.
That one's 3926 full of fuel without me in it.
3926. Holy shit.
It's heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're heavy pigs.
4,200 pounds for a carbon fiber track pack GT500. That's crazy. I did not think that it would be heavier than a GT.
That's Hellcat territory. Almost. Just about.
Hellcats
There's
are
a lot
44 and change, I believe.
Yeah.
Right around in there. But the only bad thing about the Hellcats is there's no wheel well inside of them. So you can't put a wide tire unless you do the fender clip flare or fender flare wide body kit deal.
Yep.
But you mean the wide body Hellcats is basically just a little flare glued onto the fender?
Yeah, but that's the only way you can get a wide tire
Yeah.
under them, because I think like the big number everybody's kind of maxing is 275, 295, and
For
everybody
the
wants
stock,
to.
like the non-wide version, yeah. So the Hellcats come in at 275 stock, and then you can only get maybe up to a 295, and then you start looking weird.
And then you start getting the rubbing issues on them. But then that's when they started going into the wide body or the fender flare thing or whatever. So people get into 315s and stuff like that on them.
I think it come 315s or 305 stock on those, if I remember correctly.
Which, by the way, you can just put one of them bad boys right on a Mustang and go like crazy.
325s.
325s, yep.
Oh, yeah.
I had
You guys fit 325s?
S550s.
Yeah.
S550s will run a
I
325.
had 335s on
Easy.
the rear when I first bought this and still had room on both sides.
That's crazy. So
The
what is
wide
it?
body S550s are running a 345.
They have wide bodies? Mm-hmm. Like stock? Or
Shelby has a wide body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
really?
Shelby has a wide body kit.
I don't know if that's necessarily stock.
I just
That's
had
the-
a 21 GT500 KR wide body, and that was running 345.
Is that the one you were telling me about? What is it, like a silver one or whatever?
Silver one?
Yeah.
Yep.
They only built like 70 some of those though, right? I
not
think
even that.
across the
I don't even
whole
think it was
G-
even that.
might have been across all years of the S550 GT500. Maybe each year they did a few. I don't know. Anyway, they're pretty freaking badass.
They are.
Yeah.
You spend your entire day under mostly these cars, right?
Yeah.
What, 90% Ford?
90 at least.
At least
if
90?
not more.
So what is it about the geometry under there that allows such a big tire? Is there anything?
Deep wheel well, and with the independent, all the arms are kind of like tucked in. So it just allows for that. The only thing that really sticks out is the brakes. And then the control arms come in pretty far back. And they have deep wheel wells, like Mike was saying. So
Have you done any 10 speeds recently?
not a lot.
Not a lot. Yeah, that's a crazy
I
platform.
leave building the transmissions to the transmission gurus.
Yeah. No, I mean, but any of those cars come through here for like, any power mods or anything like that?
Oh, yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a kit right there getting ready to go on a 20, you said?
2020.
2020, yeah.
Yep.
It's a big box.
The big supercharger.
What all comes
That's
inside
a Gen 3. That's a Gen 3 or a Gen 5 Whipple 3-liter.
Okay. And then in that little package over there, so what comes all in that little box? Not just
That right there is what lets you turn your rev limiter up to the $8 grand
The
mark.
little box on top, that's a boundary oil pump gear set.
Okay.
Crank sprocket. That's
Okay.
like the weak point.
That's
So
$400 worth of parts that could
Yeah.
save you a complete engine rebuild.
$400, that'll save you tens of thousands.
Yeah.
We took
Coyotes are not cheap to rebuild. They're not cheap to rebuild.
Are you kidding me? This guy goes through them like once a week.
Well, and you can find them used.
He's
Yeah,
getting them
yeah.
like Skittles over here.
I need
no,
new Skittles then.
And it's not the fact that the factory ones are that bad. They are, but it's the load and the RPMs. So that's pretty much the reason why the RPMs are limited from factory is because the harmonics of the engine. Once you get up over 7,000 RPMs, the harmonics, those things will just shatter in a heartbeat.
For reference, I took my factory oil pump gears and I stood just normal and I held it right next to me at arm's length and I dropped it and it hit the floor and broke in half.
You said that's the stock one?
The stock one.
stock.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Mine are billet, but
Okay.
There's plenty of guys that'll go a long time on there, but they're not bouncing off the rev limiter. It's kind of
Yeah.
that's also one of those things where you can start a real discussion in an S550 page or a Coyote page that people will swear up and down that you don't need them. Depends on how far you want to take your car to the edge, really.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get by a long time without it. You can also
You
get by
can.
with an MT82 for quite a while until you grab third gear real hard.
you're on borrowed time in a boosting car.
I am totally sold on the fact that it's the shifter. It's the sloppy shifter
Yep.
on the MT82s that just eat up third gear shift forks. You're just deadheading that shifter as you ram it forward.
Mm-hmm.
And, MGW shifters is kind of the way to go.
Yeah.
do the
Biggest recommendation for any MT82 is an MGW shifter.
do the MGWs, do they have set screws for stops? Like, is that helping or do they
Nope.
not?
The only thing they have is a guide pin for first and second. Because the shift to reverse, it's a push down over and up. So they have a guide pin that has to be set. Too many people will not set those correctly, and then the shifter doesn't like to work.
Yeah.
So on our drive over here, because I played Uber today, I just kind of picked up a side job, I suppose. You were kind of telling me a little bit about your car history, right? So you've gone through the DSM world,
Yep.
another world which you are welcome to discuss as well. But kind of take us through your kind of sport car / building car history.
It probably started, I was about 8 years old. My dad and my uncle bought dirt track super stock. So getting to tinker around with that stuff. Then we got up into A-mods. And then I got away from dirt track stuff. 16 years old, I got into imports, had some Hondas, built a 91 Talon all-wheel drive, Super 16G turbo. It was fully built. That car was fun, a lot of fun.
You were telling me you made how much?
High 400s.
High 400s, which
Yep.
is, to anybody that's listening, if you don't understand, DSMs are a fucking absurd platform. Like, when they work, obviously, because I've
Yeah.
heard stories that...
Oh yeah.
They're
They-
broken more than they run.
That's what I've been hearing. I think I've only had like one or two DSM guys on this podcast, but still, that for an all-wheel drive, I'm guessing it was manual.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't beat it back then. I mean,
No.
and you're making 400 to the wheels, like that's ridiculous. In a car that weighs 2,800, maybe.
Probably the funnest part of that would go into an open parking lot and just grab second gear and dump the clutch and start doing cyclones, just drifting across the parking lot in a big smoke show. I would literally have to stop because I was so dizzy I was going to puke.
Really?
It's just you start spinning so quick in an all-wheel drive car though, and I mean it's just at some point you got to give. You just can't keep going, and it would make me sick.
I wonder if Tim Roman looked into that all-wheel drive platform at all when he came across his studies.
I don't know. I feel like he probably went through every option, I would assume.
Yeah, now it's I'm curious like what kind of all-wheel drive system was in there. But do you know if it was like a variable torque split or anything like that, or is that kind of
I have no
too
idea,
long
to be
ago?
honest. It was so long ago.
Yeah, that's one that was like, all right, now see, I'm gonna have to be googling this later. Not
We're old now.
Yeah.
We're old now.
Yeah.
Our memory doesn't go back that far.
Old
I
enough
don't know.
to
I
know.
heard you guys talking about those 2002s, 3s, those old Fords, real easily.
Ford knowledge. See, what happens is you got to get rid of some shit to keep some stuff, and I keep all the Ford stuff in there logged, part numbers, everything.
Oh, man.
Yep. That's why I noticed how you steered us off, because we were about to get on a little Ford tangent there, and I like how you directed it back towards Mike. That was perfect.
Well, no, just because I know he had a colorful history. So back to
Dan's Rolodex is in there going, yep. Nope, got to go.
Yeah. Well, especially if you get Jarrett and I going on something,
man.
it'll be a problem.
so then okay, so you had that. What came after the Talon?
So I had 4 or 5 cars at one point, couple Civics, the Talon, my SRT4 that I bought new and then built that up. But I also got it was either an 89 or a 91. They're the same body, Civic SI hatch, and ran that at Elko in the Super Hornets class. So, and that was just fun, so much fun. Then I had the SRT, and that car was simple bolt-ons. It had a set of slicks on it, a wastegate controller, a boost controller, and that car ran 12 O's all day long.
An SRT what?
SRT4, the little neon.
Oh, SRT. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
fast.
and that car was stupid consistent. We used to run at Rock Falls all the time, and I would go every chance I got, and I would come home with the check almost every time. That was living the dream back in the day. I was like coming home with money for racing.
How reliable was that platform?
I never had a single issue with it. Nothing
Really?
ever broke on that car.
At what power level?
That one I think made 340, 350-ish to the tires.
We had one go on a rally with us. This is the first. I think this was the inaugural run of the Venom Rally. You remember that one, Dan? That
Yeah.
It was making like 550 to the wheels. It was
He had
on
to
corn.
carry like one of those crank pump rolling gas caddy things.
Oh, man.
He had that
Did
in
it
his
blow
trunk
through
to
fuel too fast?
E85. So he was like, fill
Oh.
up the tank, fill up this tank.
Yeah. 2 miles to the gallon.
Dude,
Yeah.
that thing could scoot. That guy actually
Yeah.
hit me up recently. He's been hosting drag events like really far up north, like 2 or 3 hours north of Brainerd North.
Shit.
Something like that. There's got to be a track somewhere up there, right? I don't know.
What you do? All 4 cars might show up to it.
Yeah. He invited us. I'm like, oh, I'm already at the Speed Summit, which we will be going to in September unless we end up at another event. But yeah, that's crazy. You guys should come out to that one. You guys have a lot of fun competing at the Speed Summit at Brainerd. I think we kind of filled you in on
When's that one?
That would be September 6th through 8th, I believe it was.
Okay.
First weekend of September. So triple track showdown. So drag, autocross, and road course on the competition course. That was a really fun track.
So you ready to get all the haters now?
Uh-oh.
Out of all the tracks I've raced at throughout the country, I've never been to Brainerd.
Which is bananas, considering
Yeah.
you live
It is banana.
10
Yeah.
minutes from me.
Yeah, I've raced in so many states and so many different tracks, and I've never been to the home one.
I'm going to stop you right there. What's been your favorite track?
It'd have to be Road America.
Really?
I do like that.
It's its own city. Like people just don't get it until you've been there. Like you can try to explain it to somebody, but until you drive through the tunnel under the track and you're in it, you just don't. Like they have their own campgrounds. It's beautiful. They have their own beach. They have their own restaurants. They have their own gift shop. They have their own gas station. I mean, it's literally a town.
To be fair, since you've never been to Brainerd, it's not as classy, I would say. Don't get me wrong, Brainerd's great. Don't throw me under the bus, but it is. You go through the front gate and they've got their own campground. Like you're in, you're in it. They got a bar, restaurant, all that stuff right on.
It is pretty freaking sweet. It
Yeah.
is awesome. But Road America does feel more like a country club.
Yes, it is.
Oh, definitely. There is a different feel. I've been to a bunch of races at Brainerd, but I never raced on Brainerd. I've worked corners for CRA,
Corner girl, eh?
bike races. Well, one of my other lives, I was a fireman, so I volunteered for working corners for EMS for CRA races a couple times.
You retired last year from that, I believe, right?
Just this spring.
Just this spring. Okay.
Former life, like a few months ago.
Put in about 15 years, and now I'm good. But
God damn it, Dan.
but no, but the track, but yeah, the difference between Road America and Brainerd, it's like Road America is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful track. The history, just the history behind Road America, like he's saying, like when you pull in through the gate and go on through that tunnel, it's like,
Dude, that under tunnel. I remember my first time at Road America was last year on a rally that we attended, and I was like, "This is cool."
Yeah.
And it's even better when you have a golf cart / Vespa to hitch a ride on. Because I was walking the whole track, and that's a 4-mile track.
it's a lot.
I think it's
of walking.
4.01 or something like that, right? Is that what you're
4.0.
Yeah, but spread out
0.48.
over how many acres is that? That's like
It's
it's
huge.
huge.
It's huge.
If you had to walk from, the tunnel to the beach, 1.5 miles at least to get back there.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
walking for a while.
Yeah, no, that little Ford Think has been my saving grace.
that thing,
That thing is sweet.
I know it's been one of the
That
best
thing is
things I've ever
sweet.
got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
I
get
do
away,
like my
I-
Vespa riding around the track just
that was
because it
fun.
goes anywhere.
The only thing sweeter would be if the parking brake in it worked.
That would be sweeter, but it is a Ford, right? Something's got to be broken.
Exactly.
I just thought I'd
And
throw
what
that in there
not
because somebody's
to
going to do
work,
it.
then the e-brake.
Yeah.
But I took the shoes out.
It's got stupid drum brakes on. I had the drums off. I don't know. Maybe it needs to come to Bowen Built just so you can get your hands on every Ford
Hey.
they've ever freaking made,
I can do
right?
that.
Yeah.
I can do that.
All right.
I'll fix the e-brake.
It's
on it.
electric though. Sure you want to dabble in that world? I'm just
It's a
kidding.
golf. It's a
I'm
golf
just
cart.
kidding.
Yeah.
It's a golf cart. They're all electric now.
So, but you said there's a nice stutter coming there. All right, I might be over caffeinated now. You said you've been to a lot of different tracks, right? So, Road America, obviously, it's nice, close, fun, amazing track. Is there any of the other ones that you've attended that are just more technical or just really fun to drive? Anything come to mind? How far out have you ventured?
Texas, Nashville.
So, Coda, is that the one you did in Texas, or
No, Eagles Canyon.
okay?
So, and that track is beautiful. We got to go to that one. Just God, it couldn't have been. The entire place was rebuilt, resurfaced, everything. And we were there just a couple months later. Like, it just felt like you were out for a cruise. It was so smooth. It's kind of like Road America now because Road America was all redone. But you just drive. You just get to go out and cruise. And I mean, other than the fact I posted fastest time of the day at Eagles Canyon, that's
Oh, okay. So that's not your
side
favorite for a
note,
reason.
but no, it's hilly and like you would come down this hard hill and have to make a sharp right and go back up the hill. I mean, it's just different. You don't get to see a lot of road courses that are like that, and it was so much
With
fun.
elevation changes and
Yeah.
such. Dude, AMP
Very cool.
is freaking awesome. The one I rented down in Atlanta
yeah.
Motorsports Park.
That's a good one, too.
Yeah, not Road Atlanta. Very different. But dude, when Gary took me for a ride in his GT500, it's like you're looking up at this hill. Like that's a really cool track over there. I mean, would you agree?
Yes, I would actually say that. So you have your favorites and stuff, but I don't think I've ever been on a track that I haven't had a good time. Or once you get bit by that bug, as long as, like you said, you get to drive. Who gives a shit where you're at?
Yeah, and
It's a lot of fun.
Most people are like, like, don't you get nervous going out on that track? And I was like, most people are like anxious and like all that stuff. Me, that's all my nerves go away. Like that's my calmest I ever get.
Dude, I sound like a sociopath. Like when I get behind a car, I feel a lot more dialed in. Like I am a nervous wreck in every aspect of my life. But whenever like I'm behind the wheel, it's like, all right, don't die. We're good. And that's it. Like you're just zoned in. I don't know. I've never heard somebody else describe it that way. Because some people are just, like you said, a bundle of nerves. But
Yeah.
I feel like some people just zone in.
Yeah, it's just it's calming for me. Like I said, the caffeine does the opposite for me, and racing's the same way. Like as soon as I click my belts on, it's like
It's go time.
I'm good.
The adrenaline hits you, just calms you out.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like now I get to do what I love. So
I used to get that. I used to race autocross a lot back in the day. And
What'd
that
you
was kinda the
race?
same. I had a 95 Thunderbird.
Okay.
So, but I built a 4-valve 4.6 Cobra motor for it. So it moved. It was it was a fun car. So I would go out and beat up on a lot of unsuspecting cars in a 95 Thunderbird. So
That's the
Independent
coolest
rear
thing.
suspension in that, which it was like unheard of for that time.
Oh, yeah.
So
the T-Birds were awesome.
the
Yep.
others were awesome.
Yeah. Oh,
That's our,
Nope, that's it. I'm trying not to get into it again. We could go through the whole history and all that stuff.
And I'm a Thunderbird guy, so let's go.
Yeah.
I always forget that I had one too. Yeah. So I had a 97 the last year they made them with the GT.
you guys do this. I'll be right back. That was my favorite thing. Like when Dan, because I'd say most of our guests are probably about leaning towards like your age, and you're about 15 years older than me, right? So it's like you guys just go through this like down reminiscing thing. And it's the funniest thing ever. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll just sit back here, learn a thing or two.
I'll let you guys roll.
I mean, the 87, 88 Turbo Coupe was probably one of the coolest cars a Ford ever made, I think. But yeah, we get into the Thunderbird stuff.
So should I set my Facebook Marketplace for that as well?
Sure. You're going to be sadly disappointed in its performance nowadays, but
I love doing this to Dan. I'm searching for stuff on Facebook Marketplace for him.
There is a blown big block 86 T-Bird for sale.
See, I want the 87, 88. I want the Aero Nose version. I want to put a 2.3 EcoBoost setup in one so I can keep it 2.3 turbo.
Yep.
But it needs something other than that original 2.3 turbo. The thing's not that great.
No.
But anyway, that's another episode, a different deal.
You got anything unique you're working on at the moment or as of recently?
A couple of fun little projects. I got a twin turbo F-150 going down right now.
Single cab or?
Yep. I might probably see it in the background of the video on the hoist right now. So, then I got a 2011 GT500 that I'm trying to find some bugs on. And then a big wiring build for a crazy kit car. So, which is right behind you there. So, it's a RCR SLC kit. So it looks like an LMP car, bubble cockpit, 2-seater. That's kind of fun.
That looks like it's going to be fun to drive.
That thing is going to be a crazy build. Crazy build.
Have you worked on any kit cars?
Beyond Factory 5 stuff, do a bunch of Factory 5, the AC Cobra kits.
Those are pretty sweet.
They're pretty awesome.
Have you ever built one? Because I know those things.
Not a full build.
It's like a Lego set.
Not a full build for anybody, but more or less setting them up after somebody has put them together.
Just dial it in.
So yeah, dialing in suspension, figuring out some issues that they had come across, wiring stuff, or just I can't get the cooling system to work right, kind of a deal. Mm-hmm. So certain aspects of it, doing that route. So
would say that we've had a discussion too about Rat from Ratified. There are people that when it comes to diagnosis stuff, that just I'm picturing you just see numbers and things going some kind of savant thing. But you are for diagnosis stuff I'm very impressed. I had that. My friend Magler, who I had sent you, he's like, nobody can figure this shit out. It's gone to all these different shops. I was like, well, if you want to figure that out, you got to take it to Jarrett. I don't know what else to tell you. So
yeah,
that's.
And then your expedition.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Diagnosis over the phone.
Well, I thought I was going to be doing an engine, so I really greatly appreciate that one. Yeah, it's some people can just see the whole picture, and that's where you come in.
A big thing, shout out to the past life, working at a dealership for a long time and just seeing all that random stuff that comes through. I was kind of the gremlin guy at the dealership. So if there was a car that just couldn't get figured out, they'd end up in my stall. And then I would figure them out. And then the FSCs would come in and explain what we did to fix it. Or they would come in and work with them to fix the issues, and then we'd make TSBs and SSMs.
So never pour water on Jarrett.
We don't want any more.
I was going to see who was going to get that one.
One Jarrett's good enough. Yeah.
They separate.
But no, I like a challenge. I like having fun with just getting into something that I don't know about. Mm-hmm. So.
What's something you've been kind of wanting to get into? Anything come to mind that you're just I need to sink my teeth into it?
really want to get into the Superformance stuff. The continuation GT40s and AC Cobras and the Daytonas that are coming out now. Well, they've been around for a while, but I want to get into helping them with those.
Okay, what's it called again?
The company's called Superformance
Okay.
or Downforce Motorsports.
There's a guy in Carolina that
Chicago.
has a bunch of those. I forget what's his name, Vin Giggs or something like that.
Yeah,
you follow him on Instagram, probably.
Ben Giggs, he's got I think he has a GT40, and he had a Daytona. Mm-hmm. But I believe he sold the Daytona.
Yeah, he's currently trying to get a GTD.
He is trying to get. He is hell bent on the GTD. I don't understand why anybody that could actually afford it would not be hell bent on getting a GTD.
Yeah.
They are just insane.
Yeah, it kind of frustrates me that some people are like, "Well, it's just a Mustang. I would never pay
it's
three."
not just
You remember
a
people were all up in arms when the GT500 was $100,000,
Yeah.
and it's like, well, the first year that it came out,
Yeah.
it was over here, smoked the McLaren 675 LT over at the track that we were at. It's like, dude, that thing is like a supercar in a Mustang body.
Yeah.
And now the GTD, I
They're
think.
track weapons, and the GTD is light years above the 500.
So what makes it? Because now it has something called, is it called a transaxle? Is that what they call it, where they move everything back on those or on the GTD? Because it's a specific. What was it called? Am I blanking on it?
All I know.
It's the same thing that the Corvette's got.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Corvette, just for weight distribution.
Yeah.
Don't vets have like, is it a torque tube thing?
Torque tube, yeah.
Oh, our friend knows all about that.
Yeah. It's going to be a similar layout. I don't know if that changes what it's named or not, but yeah, they're moving the
I mean, it would be a
DCT.
transaxle because the axle shafts come right off of the transmission.
Okay.
So the differential is built into the transmission. It's virtually like a GT supercar transmission.
Okay.
I think the technical term should be power tunnel thingy.
Tunnel thingy.
That's what I'm going to call it.
But yeah,
Yeah.
no, for the transmit, it is a transaxle.
Okay.
So it's like the old, like the T5, like the ZFs and the Panteras, and the 4 GT supercars. Well, the old 506, I suppose. Yeah, the newer ones too, but that's the 3.5 EcoBoost.
Yeah.
So is that mostly just for weight distribution purposes?
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Nothing else special about it.
It has that whole, they've got that cool little clear window in the back for that suspension setup that
Yep.
they've got. Yeah, I don't know what.
The push rod, coil over setup. So
Yeah.
it's a multimatic. It's multimatic partnership again. So it's like the 16 and up 4 GT supercars. We're partnered with Multimatic now. The GTD, it's kind of the same thing. You know, just ridiculous suspension, ridiculous, frame. They're just
So it's going to
weapons.
look like a Mustang, but handle like a Ford GT. Drive like
Better.
one slightly. Yeah, better.
It's what the Ford GT should have been. The new generation.
The new GT is pretty awesome, and they are killing it with track records with the
Yes.
GT2, with the Mark II.
I did know. I saw something on Facebook about that. Yeah.
But I have a feeling once the GTD gets on the track more, and guys that are really good at driving get it behind the wheel, they're gonna start crushing some records with that car.
Well, it's still the same Predator setup right in the front, I believe. The 5.2. That this Predator motor is just insane.
Yeah.
So I've seen some guys are taking Raptor R, which by the way has a size or two smaller pulley, and they're just swapping that onto the GT500s too. So that's kind of neat.
Which is just hilarious.
Yeah.
I should go see if I can go snag one off my buddies.
Oh yeah, we should have taken. Is it still sitting there?
I'm sure it is. I'll shoot him a text after this. We'll see if we can snag it off of
All right.
off of his. Because I know he was thinking about maybe turning it into like a tube chassis sort of Baja truck. Because like,
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna be putting out an article about this here soon. I posted photos like a month or two ago. This
Yeah.
thing hit a bus, like at 50 miles an hour. The bus spun around twice because the bus ran a stop sign. So
Yeah.
pretty gnarly.
Ouch.
Yeah, so we'll see. Let's see if he still has any parts for you.
I talked to him shortly after that, so
Oh, okay. So yeah, you know who I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, no, that
Sad.
thing's gonna be crazy. Do you know how big of a blower they have in that GTD? By chance, off cuff, probably not.
I think it's the
I remember
same.
what this- I think it's the same
It's
one
a-
that's on the Predator.
2650.
Can't remember the liters on it though.
Oh, I don't know.
If it's a 2650, usually it doesn't like a 23. It would be a 2.6 then. Isn't that how they label them? Because like the 2300 blowers were all 2.3 liters.
Yeah, probably that checks out. So
Don't look at me. I'm not gonna be the one to save you.
we'll tell you all day long about the old shit.
I'll
The new stuff.
I'll have to dig into that.
But no, it's making 800 horsepower, or whatever, and they're testing it at the ring right now. I'm surprised they haven't released any times yet. That's either a really, really good thing or a, oh, damn, we talked a lot of shit and can't back it up thing.
It could be both.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's going to be, I mean, it sounds like a bat out of hell. It's going to be sweet. It looks really good in black.
It does.
Yeah, I really hope that Vin Giggs guy gets it, though.
Looks
Good.
really good in red. They released the first full production one.
Really?
Yeah.
Red
I
was-
saw
And
that too.
and it's I can't remember what the name of it is, but it looks like a deep ruby red.
Yeah. With like the carbon on the
Yeah.
hood or whatever. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. No,
look
if he
nice.
gets that, I think he's going to go on a
It is
nationwide tour.
Gorgeous car.
Yeah. Which is going to be pretty sweet. So, blanked on that one.
I did look at if they make the wing like it for these cars yet.
Like an aftermarket one
Yeah.
to pick up?
Yeah.
To put on the back window.
Yeah.
Where would you'd have to cut apart the pillar and
I was
Yeah.
thinking, so the orange car, which my dad bought, that he doesn't know, that's our R&D car, so I would put it on that car first.
I'll have to shoot him a message on Facebook after this. Be like, hey, you know what your son's about to do?
Yeah, he'd be fine with it.
About to cut up the whole thing.
He would totally be fine.
I sold that car to my dad, but I'm still in charge of making sure it's running right and doing all the stuff to it. So he's like, I don't know, this seems wonky. You need to figure this out. I'm like, all right, fine.
At least it drives straight down the road now.
Yes, it does. I have never done an alignment on it. I brought it here, and Jarrett's like, holy shit,
I'm like,
man.
how did you even get here from Wisconsin? This alignment is so far off.
I took a lot of rights.
Yeah. Car's been apart a few times.
Yeah.
What's next for your car then? Just keep it as is, or did you? I noticed you have some new upgrades today. Or what were you guys talking about before?
So we're gonna start with the rear end. We're gonna change out a gear set. I've been noticing in some autocross stuff. I'm in this weird spot to where it's too much for first gear, but it's not enough for full on second. And once second starts getting under power and boost starts getting made, it's too much. Because then it just brings it in and all, and it'll roast the tires, and then you're just going too fast at that point. So we're gonna go up a little bit in gear and see if we can shorten up first and bring second down a little bit, and so that I can run a little bit more in second, and it's a little more manageable.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because the 1-2 shift is deadly.
It's
as soon as you
violent in this
click
car.
second, you lose the back end. On the
Yeah.
car.
Really?
So being able to stay in second and ride a little bit higher RPM in there to be able to, just stay at speed in the power band and not have to, push the back end out.
If I had another 10 miles an hour in first gear, this wouldn't be a problem.
Right.
But I
Yeah.
don't.
What is on an auto car? Are they 355s or 373s in a
This is a
315.
313.
313?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
It's low.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's four options. There's the 373s, the 355s, the 331s, and the 315s.
I took 331s out of my car I have laying around. How far up are you going to go?
We're gonna
We're
probably
talking
do
355.
355.
355s? Okay. That's what I went with, and I like it.
Yeah,
But a manual is different.
yeah. So we'll. The only one way to find out.
Yep.
Exactly.
There you go.
But he
And-
wants to do a full-on second pumpkin. So that's
Yeah.
just swapping it out.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
Not rebuilding this rear end, just taking this one out, building a totally separate differential and installing.
Okay.
Because
That's what I did too.
because we can track swap rear ends if we have to. If something goofy happens, or But the more and
Me?
more,
So I can swap rear ends.
I have no issue working on the car at road. But
Yeah,
at Road
yeah.
America, he's like,
If it comes to swapping a rear end, Mike will be pulling suspension apart as I'm pulling the bottom.
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So, but like half the time he's like, just move over. I got this. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, well, do your thing and stuff. I
Well, it probably
have no
takes you
problem.
20 minutes.
Yeah. It doesn't take that long.
I've had this car apart so many times I could probably do it in my sleep now. But
Yeah.
That's one of the appealing things about, I guess, most domestics, right? They're pretty simple. Even though this is newer, like, what'd you say, 16, 17 for this?
This for the year.
Yeah. This
So
is
15. It's the first year of this.
Yeah, because you said they only did this color, what, 15, 16, 17, right?
15,
No.
16.
15, 16.
16. 2 years. Okay, I'm catching up. Don't worry, we'll get there.
You get there.
But no, like that's one of the appealing things. It's like you can work on them. Whereas like you open it up. Like I remember he opened up my GTI. He's like, I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at. Like it's German. Turned into a pumpkin, you know. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's just one of the appealing parts. Is
There's a lot of weird things with some of the like I don't like when you take the wheels off the fact that there's no lugs on the thing anymore.
No, you take the bolts out.
The studs,
Yeah,
the bolts out,
which makes
yeah.
absolutely
And then your wheel just
impossible
falls
to put
off.
yes, and then you can't to put it back on. You're like line that up right and do this while holding the wheel. That's a pain in the ass.
that's so you get more billable service hours.
When he orders his oil change kit every time, you have to throw away the drain plug and put a new one of those in too. I'm like, that seems cool.
You don't do that for
I
every
spent
car
a
anyways?
short time
No.
of my life at Motorworks
Just throw it away.
BMW.
Who needs that?
What were some of the weird, quirky BMW things you worked on? Anything come to mind?
Nothing super quirky. I wasn't there long enough to really
Fair
do.
enough.
I was there for like 10, 11 months.
Mhm.
Where
It's my entire career.
it was, but BMW is such a different world.
Mm.
Like, I don't even want to get too far into it, but I mean, BMW, the history of it is crazy. Like, if you want to know how anything was R&D'd and made for any other car in the world, BMW probably made it. Like, they're
It
the
is
ones
crazy,
that
yeah.
they designed like the world as far as cars, and then they keep it, and then 10, 15 years later, they're like, okay, now you guys can do this to your cars. Like push button start. Like everyone's like wigging out that in the 2020s, all of a sudden all these cars have push button start when BMWs have been push button start since the 80s.
Has it really been that long?
Well, there's certain cars that they've had for
Forever.
like, decades with this stuff that
So I found
everyone
out-
else has now.
Something interesting about BMW stuff. So there is a car that runs in the Optima series with us. It is a 3rd gen Camaro that they run a BMW transmission and have paddle shifters.
Yeah.
And it all bolts up and hooks up right into an LS.
Really?
I was
You
a
just
little
said a
bit
lot of things. You said Mustang, LS, and BMW all in one car. Is that
No, there's no Mustang in there.
Oh, I'm
The
sorry.
3rd gen Camaro.
He hears blue oval and he freaks the fuck out.
Sorry.
Yeah.
There wasn't even no blue oval in there.
No, I want to. When I
It
see
was
a
the
Camaro,
gold
I
bow
want it to
tie.
be a Mustang. That's what it is. That's what it is.
But yeah, so they're running BMW transmissions in them so they can run paddle shifters.
Shit.
That is ridiculous.
I just found that out 2 weeks ago.
Which car was that?
Yeah.
It's a 3rd gen Camaro. I don't know if I want to
Yeah.
Okay.
open
Give
up
away
just in
secrets.
case things are kind of
Secret.
Yeah.
Okay, noted. Okay.
Being
Yeah,
tested,
hush,
but-
hush. No,
But it
no,
was-
no talkie.
It was pretty cool to hear that. That's what I heard. I'm like, what?
We'll let it die there.
The fact that it bolts up is pretty sweet.
No doubt.
Yeah, no, if you need to know about the history of VW, we'll let you know.
Sounds good.
We'll go way back. There we go. You got
Little
it.
bit of dark history there. I was like, I kept going back, and then I went, yeah.
Back in high school, there was like the rage. Like everybody wanted to be or VW stuff.
Mhm.
I had a really good buddy in high school that had rabbits, multiple rabbits, and then he hand built a bug, and it's just cool cars.
my
I
cousin.
love the old VW.
My
stuff.
cousin was big into Scirocco's.
Yes.
And he had a
Who
couple.
isn't?
He had a couple of them. He might even still have one to this day. I'm not 100%
Noted.
sure, but
And they didn't burn down. And they had that
I didn't
big
physically
wiring
see
issue in
one
the
burn
back.
down, but
No, we're not talking about Pintos. Don't worry.
Those have wiring issues.
same,
That's a big stain.
Only if you get
Unfortunate.
rear-ended. Yeah. To be fair, though,
Yeah, I know.
Volkswagen saved from the Pinto to the Fox body, right? If we're going back to Volkswagen again here, because they inspired the Fox body.
You're welcome.
That's kind of what Ford was going for, that Euro look.
Yep.
So, but in the previous generation was basically a Pinto. Fun stuff.
Yeah. So other decisions on this car, right? For example, like when it comes to Fords, you can go on whatever website. What's your guys' like main website where you order shit? Like for me, if I need anything for my VW, I go to like FCP Euro, right? Is there like a main thing you guys order stuff for? Not really.
Lethal Performance is kind of
Really?
a bigger one.
Oh yeah, that's right. There's 2 Lethal Performances too.
They have a
Yeah.
lot of stuff. I'm kind of all over the board when it comes to
Okay.
Beefcake Racing
Okay.
is a big one. Terry's awesome. And MMR.
He is awesome, but Jarrett over at whatever gets pissed off because he rips off a lot of stuff from Lethal Performance.
Yeah, Lethal Performance, and they don't get along. But I go back and forth because sometimes you get better prices from one than the other.
Yeah.
But
CJ Pony Parts is another big one. I've bought a few things from them guys in the past, and
LMR,
Yeah, and the reason I
American
bring that
Muscle,
up-
there's so many.
LMR, yeah.
LMR, yep.
Yeah, the main reason I bring that up is, right, like you have so much variety of things you can choose. Is there any reason you went with KW coilovers or not really?
Because they were free.
Oh, that checks out. All right.
I actually, I went to pick up a buddy's car in Wisconsin for him that he bought, and the guy had Steeda adjustables in the car, and it had the factory shocks in a box, and it had KWs in a box. The KWs, the fronts? The fronts had bad seals in them. So I looked up, to see if it was worth rebuilding them and all that stuff because I wanted to get into the double adjustable world and coilovers, more adjustability. Mm-hmm. And I reached out, and the price was worth rebuilding them. So I shipped them out to California, and they ended up calling me and saying, we need cores of this generation for an extra $20 or $40. I don't remember how much it was. We'll send you brand new ones. Are you okay with this? I was like, this is a terrible deal.
Yeah.
So they ended up,
brand new
they
shocks?
sent me brand new shocks. So I ended up getting, basically I have a brand new set of KW double adjustables, and I have less than $500 into the whole set.
Well, that's a steal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think they're north of $3,500 for this kit. So it was kind of hard to argue.
Yeah.
You can
You're
go
happy with
all
them?
over the board with coilovers.
Yeah.
So
And you're happy with these set here?
Yes, there's a lot of adjustability in them, and we're still learning that.
Yeah. Right.
So I need a better understanding of that world than I know. So that's what I'm been working on lately.
Is there anything that you've learned about? Like, granted, you have a lot more to learn, but is there anything that you've picked up on so far?
Yeah, a couple clicks can screw you up real fast.
Yeah.
yeah, minor adjustments can be big changes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it's most people, when they just do a single, like a Kona Yellow is a big single adjustable shock. They're in so much stuff. And it's very different from just going to one shock that has a compression adjustable to where you can start messing with rebound now. And I mean, rebound is where you start picking tires up in corners, or you can start getting a car hopping in a brake zone because it's not releasing fast enough. And like, it's quite a game changer. Like, you can get yourself in trouble driving if you don't do it right.
Noted. I'm, only 40 clicks away from where I was before. Yeah, no, that's sketchy. Did you run into any issues like that then, or you've been pretty subtle with your changes to where there hasn't been any oh shit moments?
We've been pretty subtle. He got click happy on the autocross and he's like, we're turning these things up. I was like, well, we're only on the autocross. Worst things that happen, I'm gonna go in the grass. So
Yeah.
I was like, turn them up. Let's see how it goes.
Cone after cone after cone.
Oh, I was hungry for cones apparently on this event. I don't
Good thing
know
it's an
why.
orange car.
It has no problem, leaves the marks on the car anyways, and usually autocross and speed stop are, like, I'm usually pretty strong in those, and like I was demolishing cones left and right. Like, I just don't know what it was, but the car was just like, you're mine, one after another.
A couple of those, especially when you got to the top of the hill over there, that was a tough part where it's like a fast left, right, left.
Oh, yep.
I thought I could maybe just squeeze through there. I tried to just even up in between and just do a barely it. No, I nailed a cone on that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think I might have a video of that actually. It was fun recording you, dude.
a lot of guys plowed through that third cone.
Yeah.
On those two sections on the autocross.
Dude, that big, what was it, a Blazer? The
K5 Blazer.
That yellow, kind of cream colored
yellow
one.
one.
dude, did any of you guys see when I did a full 360 at the top of the hill there?
I did not see that.
Yeah, if you go back
I
there.
saw him doing the 180 in the stop box.
Oh, I didn't see that one. Yeah, at the top of the hill. I wish I got a video of it. I got a video of him getting back onto the track. But yeah, you can see like a full 360 mark of tires at the top of the hill there. That thing was ridiculous though, dude. I can't remember what I was running on the full track, but I know that Jay was behind him.
He was mid 240s.
Yeah, okay.
Like a 244, 245.
Yep. But he's on, I mean, that thing's making north of 800 horsepower.
That's what I heard.
Because down low, that he would pull away from me a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I'd reel him in up top. But that's, I believe, Speed Tech is the whole chassis suspension underneath those. So they're basically a race car with a K5 on top of it.
Gotcha. Dude, what was your favorite car out there? I'll start with you. Have any favorites out of anybody there? Like if you had to get rid of this today.
There's a lot of nice cars that come to this place.
I mean, there was that freaking, what was that Lambo?
Oh, Schwartz's Lambo.
Yeah.
The SVO.
Yep.
The green STO. I think that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I really liked that. What was it? A Camaro? The one that kind of looked like that grabber blue color?
Oh,
The
that's
68
Schmitty's car.
split bumper.
Yeah.
Yep, that's Schmitty's car.
Yeah, that thing is cool.
That's
Yeah.
pretty sweet. I really like the Javelin.
The Javelin or that
Javelin or the
Resto Mod
70
Mustang.
The 70 Mustang.
Yeah, that
It was
like
a
burgundy
70,
one.
70
Yeah.
or 71.
That was a clean
Resto
build.
Mod.
That one
Yeah.
looked
Just
nice.
gorgeous car.
Yeah.
I think
Gorgeous
the
car.
Javelin actually won the People's Choice Award, the Composites Choice Award or whatever it was for like their favorite car they would like to have. I think he won it. But yeah, those two cars were up there for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to pop the usual three? I have a feeling we'll do a Minnesota goodbye after, though.
Sure. I have a quick Optima one. So you said you've been to those other tracks that you've been to. Were those all for the Optima series?
I've actually only done Road America with Optima.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
So Jimmy, who owns FM3, who is, the parent company above all this stuff, he does Cars and Cones, which is a charity benefit. And it's a week long. You get to go to different cities, different states, different venues, and they like do shop tours and all that stuff. And then we get to go do a different autocross, like different states, different venues and stuff. So a lot of that's through there.
Oh, okay.
And I've been doing that for years.
Do you have any out of all of the Optima touring? Do you have a goal track to go run Optima at, or just always like I always think of Laguna Seca, right? Like I want to get out there, but that's one hell of a haul.
Laguna would be awesome. Willow Springs would be cool, but I'm drawing a blank on the name. It's in the southern tip of Florida. It's big into like
We'll wait. No.
I can't remember the track. That's not
Daytona?
No,
No.
it's south of there. I'm drawing a blank on the name of the track.
Yeah.
It's a very, very well known track too. So
Somebody's just screaming at their windshield right now.
pretty much,
yeah.
I do
yeah.
that
Fucking this!
Yeah. Hey, I can't
It'll
remember.
come to mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about doing grid life?
I have actually.
You have done it, or you've thought about doing
I've thought about doing it, and I just haven't. Like
I know that they're always at Gingerman. Have you been to Gingerman yet?
I haven't. I have a bunch of friends who go to Gingerman for different events. Gingerman's in Michigan, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they've tried to get me out there on a few different occasions, and its scheduling hasn't worked out. So I'd definitely like to try that place out.
Yeah.
Would you say you're road course over autocross and anything else preference?
I'm starting to get that way. Yes.
Yeah.
Like it's.
Were you an autocross guy before?
I did I was autocross all the time. Like something I was always good at, and it's just something I enjoyed. It was fun, and you just you go do a run and you come relax, and it's so much more work to do road course stuff, like just maintenance wise, and prep and all that. But when you get a car that's got power and you get to open it up and just let it go, it's kind of a different game.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That long straight at Road America is a feeling that is second to none. That is amazing.
Yeah, it is.
That track lead breaks though.
Yeah, it will. They say it too. Like if you had this track will find any weak spot you have in anything you got going on with your car for sure. Like I'm surprised you went out there with a plug in your tire. Like that was freaking.
If it would have been anywhere except for where it was,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the fact that it was dead center bar and that thick, like I wasn't that worried about it. So
Yeah.
But it held
and-
up.
yeah. And it would have kicked off all kinds of lights in the car anyways, as soon as it would have lost, if it would have started losing pressure or something like that. And then I would have been done.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So like I had some like nannies just watching over me just in case, but yeah, I wasn't going out there, and it was in the back of my mind. It was something that I thought about, and I purposely went out and drove on the road a little bit after we swapped out the rear brakes.
Yeah,
and
he took me out for a rip.
Oh yeah.
It's like, hey, I'll kill this guy real quick.
Go melt this plug in a little bit.
And so we did.
We did.
I saw Harris grab both sides of the seat for a second, and I was like, "Don't worry, I'm not a typical Mustang driver." I was
No crowds today.
He's mid-sentence. Yeah, I'm not a typical driver, and he's swerving side to side. I'm like, oh, that's a tree. Oh, no, we're looking at that tree now. Yeah, that was a good time. Yeah, almost roasted him. Yeah. Close to it.
Yeah, it is. It is no problem getting moving. Like it'll.
No, it was a blast. I don't think I've actually been in a 5.0 with that much power. I think the fastest 5.0 I've been in was making 7.
Okay.
To the wheels.
We've had plenty of people on here that have built cars and done stuff and be like, I would do this different, or I want this, or I would do this car instead. I don't know very many S550 boosted people we've had on that aren't absolutely just in love with what they've got going on.
Well, besides you.
Well, I didn't say I didn't love it. I didn't. A lot of my stuff was my own doing.
Well, you said different things you would have done differently. Yeah?
Yes, that's true. To the same car, though.
Honestly, the S550 boosted they love it.
Yep.
The cars love it. The drivers love it.
The handling of it for
they
a heavy
handle
car.
amazingly.
Yeah.
What's the compression ratio on these stock?
11.
Which generation?
The ones that's relevant.
Okay.
Well, you can pretty much 11 to 1.
Okay. What about the other generations? What are they usually at?
The earlier was 10,
Okay.
and I think Gen 3 is up to 12 now.
12.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you can throw a freaking supercharger on it at 11 to 1 compression too is just nuts.
Yeah.
Also on top of that.
The fact that it'll just handle. I mean, yes. Besides the oil pump gears, like you can throw a blower on a Coyote motor, push 1,000 horsepower out of it, and it's fine.
That's something you can say about every single car. Well, besides every single car has that. Find me one car that's perfect. I dare you. It's not going to happen.
I'm just saying, like Dan was saying, you don't even have to do oil pump gears, and you can make 1,000 horsepower. I'm not saying it's going to handle that for a very long time, but it'll do it.
Depends on if you're the occasional, I'm on the highway, I'm going to punch it, or if you're drive the living piss out of the car. Yeah, exactly.
And honestly, so I've had clients and I've had other people like, they'll call me and they'll ask, do I really need to do oil pump gears? Because it's it's pretty labor intensive. You're really tearing the motor down to do oil pump gears. I'm like, all depends on the use that you want out of the car, and then there's guys like, you know what? I think I'll be fine. And then 3 months later, I probably should have had you put oil pump gears because now my motor's exploded.
That's the first thing I tell people too. And like, I'll get people who are like, oh, I'm just going to throw a blower on it. And I was like, all right, you're spending, $8 to $10,000 on a blower. You're going to take half the top end of the motor apart. Yeah. Just do it. I was like, because that, a couple $100 plus X amount of labor. I don't know what the labor bill rate is on it or whatever, but it's a lot cheaper than thousands and thousands of dollars to rebuild the motor. It could never be a problem, or it could be a week away.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you're spending that much money, just do it right the first time.
Yeah, you're probably just under a couple grand, I would assume, to do oil pump gears. But if you're already doing a supercharger, you have some of it ripped apart. It's probably a little less than that.
Yeah. I mean, supercharger with install, you're looking at 14, 15 grand. If you're going like big Whipple.
Yeah. With with gears, right?
Yeah, with gears. So it's not a huge jump. I mean, you're adding like 12 hours of labor.
So
10 to 12 hours labor.
Throw me into your engine bay here, right? Okay. Let's say
you won't
just
fit.
We can try.
But no, okay. Take me through the process, right? So let's say you just had to do oil pump gears, right? That's the only thing that a car's coming in for. What's everything that you have to get out of the way in order to work on that? What's the to-do list?
You're pretty much pulling everything off except for the cylinder heads.
Okay.
So valve intake manifold, valve covers, timing cover. Mm-hmm. Well, I suppose not really intake manifold if you're just doing the oil pump gears, but valve covers, front cover, so all the accessory drive, and then you're pulling all the chains off. So you got to pull the timing chains off. You got to
And action.
so valve covers, timing cover. You got to pull the oil pan down because the oil pickup tube is molded into the plastic pan. And even if it's not, then you got to disconnect it anyway, depending on the years. But the pickup tube is molded to the oil pump, so the oil pan has to drop down, and then you pull the pump off from there.
Oh, okay, we're there.
So,
So that was a long journey there. So when you have all that taken off, then you start suggesting, like, let's say you get a customer that's power hungry. All right, you already took all this apart. What are your options for upgrades? Fucking everything.
Not a
the
lot.
world.
Well, if you want to go a full MMR,
timing components, you can do phasers, lockouts, camshafts. One thing I always recommend is the inversion plate. Probably like, what's that? So for some reason on the driver's side head, the tensioners that are on there from factory, the tensioners are tensioning on the wrong side. So the tensioner is actually pushing up on the tension side, not the slack side. So you pull the tensioner out, flip it over, shove it back up the bottom side of the body, and then put a plate that slides over the top of the tensioner to hold it in place, and then put the new guide on top. So then it's tensioning on the bottom, which is technically the slack side on the driver's side head.
but to be fair, if that's one of those things though that a lot of people don't touch any of that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, the timing components on it aren't really that. I mean, it's not a big
You don't
deal.
have to.
No.
It's
The inversion thing I agree with while you're in there real quick, but the MMR thing is also a thing where people get real.
that's when when
Yeah.
you really want to go crazy with it, and you're worried about when you're making like 1,500-1,600 horsepower, then the game kind of changes from there.
Yeah.
1,000, 1,200 though.
Yeah,
The
if you're
jump
just
from-
making
yeah.
4 digits, it's not a big deal. But the
Just 4
load
digits.
difference between 1,000 to 1,500 is crazy.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like every time, like for whatever reason, like 1,000 horsepower build, it's not too crazy for most platforms. Like, we hear
Not
this all the time,
anymore.
downpipe and a tune for some
Yeah.
platforms. But
Set, fuel pump and a pulley.
yeah,
That's it.
Yeah.
It'll make
Right.
4 digits.
that's not too shabby at all, right? But then you start looking at that 1,500 horse. It's like, oh, this just got way more expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see that kind of regularly.
Yep.
All right, do you want to pop the usual?
Yeah, we
3?
better. We got get Jarrett out of here. So at the end of every episode, we like to ask our guests,
Yep.
to pick 3 cars. You have an unlimited budget. Swaps are cool, whatever you can imagine. But we need a track car, a daily driver, and a show car. What are you picking?
Track car probably be a Koenigsegg 1-to-1, just because I want to drive one.
He understood under unlimited budget. Yeah, it's been a while since I got someone with one of those.
A daily. Ooh, a daily and a show car could kind of be similar.
Better not be.
I want to do a like kind of a modded 55 Chev Post, but on modern chassis. So like 600 horse NA motor, something you can just roll the windows up, and just cruise in. And so, but those cars can be like show cars, like so.
Which
it's
one is a daily or show car?
Got to pick one.
unlimited budget. That'd be a daily.
Okay.
Just because I would want that scene all the time. And a show car, almost back into maybe like the 20s, Model T, Model A era, but something that's like stupidly awesome. Like not something you'd expect, almost like a modern version of a Model T.
what the hell does that even look like?
That's
I don't
exactly
know how
right.
you do
By the
that.
way, I
You
just saw an
need an
article.
unlimited budget to make a Model T look like a Model T.
Dude,
Yes.
on Facebook, like today, I saw an article that there is a registered Model T, I think in Michigan, that's still driving around on the roads.
Really?
Like a 1927 or whatever. They had a picture of it driving on the shoulder because it only does fucking 30 miles an hour.
But to take one, and just modernize it a little bit, but still keep the Model T, like,
Would you still keep like the skinny wheels?
yes, but in like a modern wheel size. Like somehow take like the wooden spoke wheels and
Aren't the modern size wheels
like
the size of those now? Isn't a 2022 like normal?
weren't some of those, well,
I don't know what the model
I
is.
don't know. I thought some of those were like really big, like 30s, like the ones
wagon
with
wheel?
the kind of like the big
Yeah.
wagon wheel style ones, but somehow turn
we have
that
a
into
Donk
like
Model T.
aluminum wheel, but it's like
You haven't worked on one of
brushed
those
to
yet?
look wooden in a way. I don't know. I've never seen anything like it, and I've always been curious still about what it could be. And
So
if
you're
you
saying
ever
like some camber on it, make it a stancy car?
no, hell no. No, I'm just kidding.
It would be cool to get like a 10-spoke wheel and have it hydro dipped in a wood grain.
That's kind of
put
There
that
you
on
go.
there. Yeah.
But
There you go.
if you pulled up into a car show with a modern actual, not like, a retro mod, like a bucket or something like that, but a full on Model T that looked like a Model T, but was all modern,
How would he swapped?
that would turn some heads, I think.
What would you even do for a motor in it?
I haven't got that far. I'm out of money.
I worked on a 33. I worked on a 33 Ford that had a 2.3 EcoBoost swap in it.
Huh.
With
Did I give you any
but
ideas?
it had 33 suspension, and that thing was sketchy.
Oh.
That's wicked.
It was crazy fast, but once you get up there and speed, it was
Oh,
sketchy.
I think I seen that car here.
Green one,
Yep, that was pretty cool.
That's crazy.
pretty awesome. You'll have to check out my Instagram page.
I'll have
It's
to
on
take a look at that. That's so what, do you only did like a swap in it or what? Or no? Did he,
Nope. Just kind of changed a couple of things, and then Casey and I tuned it
Okay.
because it didn't.
So
he
is it
changed
just a
up-
motor swap?
It was just no. There was a lot of other stuff.
Okay.
But for the most part, it was a motor swap, and then full interior on it.
Okay.
Gorgeous car, absolutely gorgeous car. But you would have never expected how fast that thing was. The way
Well, it's probably making like
the
300
way
or
it looked,
400 horse.
at least.
Yeah. And something that weighs no shit, probably 1,000, maybe 1,500 pounds.
With old school wheels, old school suspension.
That is a death trap.
And that's why we love what we
I didn't
do.
even know the differentials in those could go that fast, but it worked out.
All right. So we're doing Jarrett now again too, right?
Yeah. Let's
Yeah.
hear it.
So track
Show daily.
Oh, I'm gonna have to just go through the track one last. So show car, still I really want a 56 F100 big window, but I go back and forth on just a raw 460 pushrod crazy engine, or if I want to do something, Predator, Coyote, but something that's four wheel, like independent suspension all the way around, pro touring type of thing. Just crazy paint job. That'd be my show.
That
car.
rat fink green.
It would be rat fink green.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
candy
badass.
apple green
Yep.
with a plum crazy purple kind of accent somewhere.
And like
Yeah.
8 pounds of metallic flake in it.
At least.
Sparkling like the night.
Coarse metal flake though. Daily, I'm loving my excursion. So for a daily, I would want a Godzilla swapped excursion 4-wheel drive that was lowered, and then I want to dually it. I've seen a couple out there, but a dually excursion that was lowered with a Godzilla in it.
You
I
wouldn't
think
go
that-
Power Stroke at that point?
He's got a good start.
I'm not a diesel guy.
No?
I'm not a diesel guy.
I've been trying to push that on him, and he just ain't budging.
I'm a gas engine guy. So yeah, no.
I was
And,
until I got
a
diesel.
Godzilla can make 700-800 horse
Yeah.
for no reason.
For no reason.
And then I guess track car. Oh man. I'm gonna have to like kind of go on my son's route right now, and he's big into Porsches, like a GT3, like just a crazy, those purpose-built GT3 track cars.
Like a cup car?
Yeah, like a cup car.
Like a 992 cup car?
When I watch them on the track or seeing those on TV and stuff, just the way they handle and the way they sound, just insanity.
That's crazy. He didn't want a Mustang GT3.
I mean, I want to drive one of those too. I test drove a GT3 RS and
Yeah,
only in a
across the parking lot.
Yeah, but still, dude, sitting in one and even just like listening
Yeah.
to it and driving it just that short distance, like I'm like, okay, let's get this out on the road. Let's get it on the track.
And to your point of me not picking a Mustang, for most people that know me, not the biggest Mustang guy. Even though I work on thousands of them, not the biggest Mustang guy. If I would pick a different one, it would be a Thunderbird. I was a Thunderbird guy from the start. I had an 88 Thunderbird V6, and I bought a 96 that I autocrossed for a long time. Then I bought a buddy's parents' 95, and that's one that kind of just got built up because I bought a crashed Mark 8 from my old tech school instructor, and built up a 4-valve and a Thunderbird, and it was the best thing ever.
That is a good combo.
Do you have any other tidbits or fun facts to drop on us before we wrap up? I just feel like you're full of them, like all the time. Like you just have done such a wide variety of things.
Nothing that comes to my mind right now.
All right. Well, in that instance, do you have where can people find you, or not find you?
Right
Instagram can't find me here. You have to get that from me. But Instagram, Facebook, Bowen Built LLC. Mm-hmm. I have a website, bowenbuiltright.com, but there's nothing on it.
Yeah, look at that.
It'll lead you to Instagram or Facebook. So
Pretty
Instagram or Facebook, Bowen Built LLC.
Basically, if you want a Ford built right,
Yeah.
that's a good way of putting it. All right. You don't have any socials? I can't remember if you do.
I do. I've got Roush Motorsports on Facebook and Instagram, and then Mike Roush on Facebook.
Ooh, that checks out. Dan?
And because you're gonna get a bunch of questions,
No. I'll take the comments.
Okay.
No, I'm
All
just
right,
fucking
fine.
around. No, go for it.
No, I didn't know if we want to touch on the Roush thing, or we just leave
nobody
people.
puts baby in the corner.
Do we want to touch on the Roush thing, or do we want to just let people think, have them wonder?
Well, that's up to you to decide.
It doesn't matter to me. I tread on my own name, but it is distant relation.
Distant
Far
relation.
distant, but there's might be something in the blood there.
The
passion for racing is.
It is blood relation. I
Yeah.
will say that much. But yes,
And in case you don't know what we're talking about, he's related to Steve Saleen.
Yes.
It has been a benefit once or twice. I will say that much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do
It's
my.
not like you've trained with him or anything. So
No.
yes, you have built your own name.
Yep. Yeah. That's what I'm working to do.
Yep.
So yep. I'm not riding the coattails of anybody else.
Well, actually, you say that you're building to do what, like motorsport wise, or what do you?
Yeah,
What's the
that's-
grand ambition here?
To do this for a living.
Okay.
Just to race.
Okay.
That's everybody's goal, I think, in this is
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
get paid to do this.
Well, we'll get you one of those Trans Am cars,
He was drooling every time I was standing next to him when they were ripping by.
dude.
Yeah.
Anyone who drools.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
cars sound so amazing.
Dude, like especially when you compare, like, again, it's a completely different caliber of money, motorsport, and all that. But like when you compare the sound of those to an F1 car, the modern F1 car, we're not talking about the glory days, the V10 era.
Yeah.
Right. If you go back to that won the sound game. But right now, like, you would be hard pressed to find something that sounds better than those Trans Am cars.
Yeah.
Especially if you got like a flat plane V8, which is that has to be what was in that Challenger. It had to have been a flat plane.
I don't know, but that car had a different sound than any other car on the track, and I was in love. That car almost sounded like an Indy car going up the hill.
Yeah.
Like it literally, just the way it revved out and stuff, and like it just, those are things that just make you melt inside. Like, I love this.
It was definitely comparable to a flat plane. Like just a high revving flat plane engine.
And nobody knows this but us, but that car was in 500 pieces, 8 hours.
500,000 pieces?
Yeah.
It was in
through the
half.
night.
Yes,
It was literally in
It was
half.
nothing but the chassis like sitting there.
Yeah.
'Cause
and
I-
they,
in the middle
and
of
they
the night.
built it overnight.
Yes,
'Cause
the midnight that when we went to bed, it was all
They were
apart.
still working.
I got
on
up
it.
at like 2 a.m. to go to the bathroom,
Yeah.
and so I hopped out of the trailer and I looked over, and they were over there working on it.
They're still working on it. They worked
The
on
lights
it all
were on
night.
it. Like
Yeah.
I think they worked like no, I don't think they stopped.
Yeah, they
But
couldn't have.
then he ran second place that entire race. I think I watched.
Yeah.
Yep, and then he got first because what happened at the beginning of the race was that Menard car bumped into one of the other cars that was in first or whatever. Like it was like a weird overtake or something like that. So that guy actually ended up getting damn near. I think he got dead last or damn near it. So the Menard car got a 5-second penalty, and that challenger was just enough within that limit to get bumped into first.
It must have been
That's
close
awesome.
because first to second place were stretched out like
That Menard car was
That Menard's
cooking.
car was fast.
yeah, and
Yeah.
then like from second to third, like there had to have been like a fifth of a track distance between first and second, and then
Master
the same
Force.
between seconds.
Master Force.
Yeah,
It was
like,
interesting how they were running like
Well,
two different series at the
sold
same
them
time.
Menards.
Too.
Richest guy in Wisconsin. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you would see lap cars coming around and they'd just blow their doors off going up the hill on the front stretch and stuff, and that's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's just the difference between a fast car and a really fast
Really
car.
Fast car.
It basically comes out to who's got deeper pockets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
checks out.
John Menard.
Well, on that note, oh, good thing he's not in the electric business. Would have shut down the podcast on us
Yeah.
like the last episode.
Exactly.
Well, thank you guys for coming on, Mike, Jared.
Thank you again.
Yeah, I think it was a good time to have you on. Dan, thanks for existing, and we'll see y'all next time.
We'll see you guys in SEMA. Maybe we can fire. stuff
Oh,
up
hold
for
on.
that.
Stop the outro. What's the plan for SEMA?
We're going.
We're
you're
going to SEMA.
Do you, where's the road course for that?
Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
That's not connected to a convention center, is
Nope.
it?
No.
But the rest of the Optima stuff happens right in front of everything.
Yep. So
Yep.
the parking lot that they do, it's
The drifting and all that stuff,
yep.
I think. Yeah.
So
I
and
got
then
videos.
they'll set up the speed stop there one day, and they'll set up the autocross there another day, and all that stuff. And
Gotcha.
so
So this is only invite to this one, correct?
Correct.
Nobody could have been like, "Here's my $600. I'm coming for the
no,
weekend."
you have to get invited to this event.
Sweet.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like, man,
exciting.
if you get invited, you just got to go.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. There's people were turning it down left and right. I'm like, holy crap.
Well, like I know James turned his down. He's been there a couple times already, and
Oh, okay.
he's got other stuff going on. So, but like for me, this is my first invite, and I don't care if I have to street drive and sleep in this thing. It will be there.
Yeah.
Are you guys gonna trailer it out there probably?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We'll have a good time in Vegas. We're planning to go back out there. We had a great time at SEMA last year, and we'll also be at PRI. PRI is like a non-negotiable for me now. It's really cool, especially given this podcast. Like it's fun to learn about all the up and coming stuff in our industry. So
The goal is to get to PRI this year.
yeah.
Like me and Janderson are talking about going out together.
All right.
So
Well, let us know. We'll all go. We did a big Airbnb lasst time, so maybe we can do something.
sounds good.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Well, all right. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Jared. Dan, thanks for existing, and talk to you guys next time.